Hello everyone, it is I, Dark Symphony 777 with another fan fiction review. As always, a link to the story will be in the description below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on that bell for notifications, leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts on the story and anything. And finally, this is my opinion. My opinion is not indicative of everyone in the world, so please respect that. So, the story I'm doing a review of today is Queenpins by Elias Pedro. It is a Hololive fanfiction, and I'm going to be upfront. I'm not a big fan of VTubers. I'm really not. Just not my thing. I try getting to them. I know I have like friends who are into it. I figured I'd do a fan fiction for my friends. So this is for you, the meme king. Yeah, this is for you, meme king, and not everyone around you. So, what is this story about? Well, the story starts with one detective, Amelia Watson, her ground-pounding self, and all the gremlin glory. I don't know where I'm going with this, but bear with me. She looks across the sky, the night sky. She looks down. Groveling at her feet is one of the queenpins of the city, Gargura, as she begs up and cries. She says, "Worship me, senpai?" Amelia looks down with an evil glint in her eyes, and then proceeds to do the most evil thing possible to Gar. She gives her tons of headpats. No, that is not the actual plot in the story. I thought I'd be stupid. Here's the actual plot. The actual plot is, randomly, one day, somewhat disgraced detective Amelia Watson is ordered by the chief of police, Chief Enma, to investigate a brewing war between two gangs, the Shrimps and the Deadbeats, run by Gargura and Kalippi Mori, respectively. And so, Ame, with her new coworker or apprentice, Kiara Takanashi, I think the last name is pronounced, have to go undercover on both sides to try and calm tensions. Now, this doesn't sound like a bad plot. It sounds like the typical undercover buddy cop film or story, or in this case, story. But yeah, it's not particularly well executed. Why? References, son. I gotta have those references. For the most part, this is just a story that has a shit ton of references. Like, I don't even know much about VTubers. In fact, I had to get like confirmation with like some of these, but it's like I could tell that some of these are like references. Like the Shrimps and the Deadbeats, obvious thanks to my friends. They're like the actual fan names of the names of the fans of respective VTubers. Gar has the feet thing. She says near the end. Ina shows up in the story and she kind of like signs her, has like a signature in Florist Cafe with like the wah thing, like wah. What is wah? Wah. Um, you have Kilipil not giving a fuck. You have everyone calling Mori daddy. I actually found out from my friends that was a reference. Like, why did everyone call her daddy? It's like, that's the thing that all her fans do. I was like, okay, that makes sense. That just reference after reference. And not even just these core four. It's a lot of references to various VTubers. And I have a problem with that in the fact that it's fine if you want to have references, because this story is very clearly written by a VTuber fan for VTuber fans. Because I think I think Shy Lily's alluded to, like, I at least know Shy Lily Womp womp. Womp womp. Womp womp. Womp womp. Womp womp. Demonic womp womp. Uh, she's not mentioned by name, but consider the fact that a certain someone says like I have an orca friend, and at least as far as I know, Shia is the only orca tuber. Like I said, I don't know VTubing, so there could be more, and I don't know about it. But that being said, there comes a point where you just have so many references that kind of overcrowds the story. Like character development, plot development. Here's more references. Okay. Like, do the author need to put more references in the story? No. But he did. Or she did. Sorry, I just woke up. I kind of had wanting to do this specific review for a while, but I actually been sick. But yeah, there's not really a lot going on with the plot, mainly because the author leaves like a lot of stuff very, very intentionally vague. Like for instance, Amelia and Kiara were actually part of a war with Pecoland. I think that's like the bunny chick that was like a war criminal. I don't even remember her name. Pecora? I think it's Pecora. I'm just guessing. Um, that's like alluded to, but it's like they don't reference anything about the war, and then at the end it's revealed that like pretty much the majority of the people fighting, trying to in this war under Gar and Mori's leadership are veterans. That's never brought up until that point. What? And then there's like this drug that was developed. Okay, never mentioned with that. Or Ina's relationship with Amelia. Or why is Subaru there? Why is Subaru riding a bike named Vincent? I don't even know what that is supposed to mean. I have a feeling it's a reference to something involving Subaru. I don't know what. But there's just a lot of vague proclamations in this story that never really gets explained or even given any kind of depth because have another reference. And like I said, having a story full of references is fine. The previous fan fiction I did, Super Disney Bros, had a ton of has a ton of references. You know, also had an actual coherent plot. That's fine. This has a thoroughbred of plot. It's just two girls going to each respective gang in disguise, trying to get them to stop fighting. It's fine. It's just so bare bones that there's just nothing to kind of sink my teeth into. It's like you have something, you don't have a lot of it though. It's there, but there's just barely any of it. Same thing with same thing with characters. Like you have Gar who acts like Gar. You have Callie who acts like Callie. I think. Like at least I was only shown clips by my friends of Gar, so I can kind of at least figure out that Gar is acting in as Gar in the story. But I don't even know if Callie's acting like Callie. Same thing with like Kiara and Amelia. Like I know nothing about those two. At least I've heard of Gargura and I at least seen some clips of Gargura. I don't know anything about them. Uh but I have to assume that they're at least in character. Like there's Ame's whole thing with like each story actually starts with Amelia, and later switching between Amelia and Kiara doing a monologue, and this is actually something interesting because offside, what Amelia is trying to do is what's called a soliloquy, because it's revealed that Amelia learned this from like uh noir shows and detective shows, reading various media, and she thinks that they are monologuing. Not true. These are usually soliloquies, which are inner monologues. So what's the difference between a monologue and a soliloquy? Well, it's more who they're directed as. That is the main difference. Most soliloquies are written either in italic, so basically anyone who wants to give their thoughts, the inner thoughts, and you see like this, like right here. This would be a soliloquy as us, the readers or the watchers, if it's done visually, like through a movie, can only read it, and that would be fine, except for the fact that it, as revealed a little bit later in the story, Amelia is actually saying this stuff out loud. She does eventually get like a little notebook, and it does become proper soliloquies because she's actually writing it out. So us, the readers, are the only ones. So it kind of flips between monologue and soliloquies. That's basically the main difference, is who's listening. Like, so if people inside the story actually listen to what Amelia's saying, which does happen because people actually kind of either look at her or they kind of call her out, or Amelia kind of just rolls with it. It's like Kiara's gonna take me home, right, Kiara? Yes, yes, right, yes. Then that's a monologue. But see, halfway through Ame's Apache Field. So basically, she's kind of talking. She's supposed to be imitating a noir detective by doing a soliloquy. However, she doesn't realize that it's supposed to be a soliloquy is inner monologue. So she's kind of unintentionally saying it out loud because she doesn't realize it's not supposed to be said out loud, which is kind of the reason why she's not exactly respected in the police force, because they think she's weird. And thanks to Kiara and falling in love with Gar and just this whole deal, she kind of learns that she should at least try to internalize it. So that's why she gets the notebook and actually starts internally writing it, and that written all the times that she writes it down are classified as a soliloquy, because no one in universe is actually reading it. No one can actually hear what's being written. It's only just us, the readers, and Ame actually really looking at it. And the same thing what happens when Kiara kind of picks up the habit. That's fine. I think that quirk's fine. I think the characters are fine. They do have a decent amount. I guess the authors kind of pull up the fact that, okay, sorry, I had someone come in to do laundry. So where was I? Oh yeah, the characters. Uh, you had Gar being Gar, like I said, and then you had Kiara, who basically was a very peppy phoenix. Like she's very outgoing. She's very extroverted to kind of contrast the more slightly introverted take on Ame. I think she's introverted. So confusing. I'm more or less gonna get trashed in the comments. If I get anything wrong, don't be afraid. Put it in the comments and rip me apart. I'm not. I could take it. I can take it. I can take it like a. No, don't send me a sweater. No. I'm kidding. Uh, I do think the idea of these characters are sound. I think this is probably the best part of the story. You even have more minor characters like Ina, Subaru. You have Crony acting kind of like a pseudo pseudo crooked, pseudo crooked cop, and someone who's like who did commit crimes, but she's kind of like turning herself. She's kind of turning a new leaf, being some narcissistic because she's like, "No, this is not bad. I get the attention, but I don't want to do any of that bad stuff because it pays good." It's not bad. These characters, it's just they're attached to something that's very, very thoroughbred about these characters. If this was a more complete story, I would have more to say about these characters, or even longer. Like, this is the type of plot this author is trying to do. 81,000 words is like extremely small for this type of story. It's really tiny. Pacing, grammar wise, there is no grammar errors, not as far as I could tell. Then again, with some of these names, or like Iris saying Hyris, I'm Iris. I don't know. I don't know if that's like intentional or not. I don't know. Pacing wise, I do think a big part of his story's flaws stems from the fact that this is a story that's very, very fast paced for its own good. Most of these types of stories, they really are really more based in being slower paced because because you have to set up a lot of stuff. So having the story kind of constantly like cut ahead for like weird parts, kind of, and having me kind of disconnected at times kind of doesn't really help. I mean, you could have if it was a more if it was more simple, or if there was like only one gang, like like say it was only Gar, then you could probably make it work. But with two gangs and you have to set up the fact that the author has to set up like a relationship, which is another problem with the story. The author tried to insert the ships into the story, and it didn't work. It's quite honestly a big old mess. I don't really have anything more to say about it in terms of pacing. It's just too fast. It's just really, really clunkily fast paced for the type of story the author's trying to go for. I don't really have anything more to say about it. Would I recommend this story? I don't know for sure. Because on one hand, this is clearly a fan fiction meant for the hardcore Hololive fan base. Because on one hand, you have a story, like I said, written by a Hololive fan for Hololive fans. There's tons of little Easter eggs that kind of have winks and nods towards the members of the Hololive. Even the shipping is basically just a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to like the Gar Ame fans. And I got confirmation from my friends of this, and the Kiara Callie shippers, to basically those are ships that the Hololives kind of, I think, do themselves. I don't know, but it's more likely the crazy shippers that are doing this. Like this, like I said, like the Gar's feet, as Gar saying the at least I know that. At least I know that. Oh, like so much, and at least the even the shipping was kind of foreshadowed. Like at the very beginning, it's like, we don't care how you stop them. You could be like, fight them, smack them, romance them. We don't care. Just get it done. Which at least foreshadowed that. But like I said, this on one hand, this is a Hololive fan's delight because it just contains so many references that kind of stay true to who they are as characters, I believe. But on the other hand, as a reader, like if you're not a hardcore Hololive fan and you come across the story, you'll realize story shit. So I'm very, very split on whether or not to recommend this story, because this story's clearly meant for the hardcore fan base, and I can respect that. If I had to pick, I probably would say no, because Super Disney Bros did prove that you could have a lot of references to the various medias and still have a very, very coherent plot and character, and this had neither. This didn't have a real. This had at least a somewhat coherent plot, but very, very scattered and fragmented in how it progressed. The romance, even if it's supposed to be reference to the shipping, still comes off as very awkward. It kind of slapped together. Honestly, Kiara and Callie kind of seem more like friends than romance. Amelia and Garg were at least written slightly better. I can only see that, but I don't have any more to say about that. Favorite part? I don't really have a favorite part. It just everything kind of just blends together. Uh, Finally, what would I pick? What would I change? You got one of two routes. You can either keep it as is, keep it like the fan servicey Hololive fanfiction, which is fine, or you basically have to bridge. You have to make a more serious take of this with like the what's still the lighthearted sessions with the main four characters. Kind of have them explore, kind of have them go more in depth on the whole world. Uh, Kind of give us more moments with like Subaru, and probably have more moments with Callie and Gar. Uh, Maybe give us more background on Ami. Maybe give us like, honestly, I think a good point to start would kind of show how Ame kind of fell from grace and kind of became like a laughing stock of the police department. Like you can kind of show a little background of that. Maybe show Kiara kind of getting like kind of finishing up her training and getting like, you've been primed to be a detective of the city. She's like, oh, I want. It's like I get to meet with Ame. Yes, 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 yes. Like Kiara, like representing like that last person who like truly believes in Ame and kind of like working to kind of bring her out of the doldrums. Like you can do a lot of stuff with the plot. I don't really have, but this is one of those things that like it would have to be a dedicated to a video on its own if I kind of went in depth on this, because there's a lot of stuff that would need to be changed and retrofitted to kind of fit into more what I think the author was trying to go for, which was detective noir but fluffy right here. Um, but yeah, I think that's it for Queenpins. So this has been, I think that's, yeah. There's nothing really more I can say about this story. So this has been Dark Symphony 777 and cut.